Generic greetings and welcome to Preview Plus from the Depths. This is a vehicular building and combat game. You will make a vessel, and that could be something that goes under the water like a submarine, or floats on top of it like a ship or a boat, or flies above it like a plane or a helicopter or some sort of weird carrier type helicraft thing. Basically, any vehicle you can imagine you can make, and also there is space stuff as well. Don't know if there's ground vehicles, but if not, I'm sure it'll be added later. Once you've done that, you will equip it with engines and weapons and cannons and guns and missiles and all of that sort of thing, and then you will fight other people's vessels either via single player or multiplayer, doing campaigns, doing challenges, things like that, and hopefully you will not explode. This is something I've played about 3.5 hours of, so this is certainly a first impressions, not a review, let's make that perfectly clear. Also, it is still in development, so the typical disclaimers apply, you know them by now. Nothing you see is final, everything is subject to change, any bugs I like to polish in places, etc, etc. Please attribute it to its in-depth status. So, I'm going to show you a little bit of the single player. I haven't tried multiplayer, as I said, but I'm aware that it exists, and you can, as far as I'm aware, build with other people on that, and also, I don't know if you can do the full campaign, but there's other things you can do as well. Single player, tried a little bit of the, let's have a quick look here, 1 second. It tried a little bit of the story, little 1 or 2. I haven't tried a campaign, and mainly doing the open bit in the vehicle designer. Now, a bit of a history lesson before we jump in. I actually played this about a year or so ago when the developer emailed me and said, hey, you might want to check this out. And I did, and I didn't like it. So the typical rule is, if I don't like it, I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to name and shame something. If I don't like it, it just doesn't go on the channel. That's the rule. So I thought, yeah, fine, you know, I don't like this, I do like that, blah, 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 blah. It's not for me, basically. But I was aware that it was in development, so I thought, I'll put that in the list to check out later. Sadly, that list gets longer and longer and bigger every day, so it's taken me this long to actually get round to playing this again, and actually I'm quite thankful for it, but we'll get on to that a little bit later. Now, if you're first coming into the game, I think the biggest problem with the game so far is that it is actually quite an expansive and quite a deep game in many places. Like, you don't just place one block and you're done. It is actually quite a lot. It's you know, much more than that. But because of that, the learning curve is quite high. So it probably will take you a lot of time to get into this. As I said, I've played 3.5 hours and I'm only just scratching the surface. I'm only not even a novice. I wouldn't even say novice. I would just call complete and utter amateur at this one. But to ease you into it, then I would recommend you do this. On the top left it says, suggestions for new players, welcome from the depths. The UI is all over, by the way. I'm just going to point that out now. I'm not a big fan of the UI, but yeah, whatever. It's all over the place. Click on that. That gives the knowledge center. Now, basically, there's a big pile of buttons, and I have systematically went and checked all of them out. Now, most of them are quite useful, but what I would recommend you do if you're first playing this, basically check out the YouTube videos of the keyboard building and mouse building. There's 2 schemes of building. Check them out first, and then jump straight over to the learn by doing, which is basic controls, blah, blah, blah. That is the old-fashioned standard tutorials, which basically you're in the game and you're following instructions. That's the way I would recommend you check it out. Watch them videos and then check that out. Or just jump in straight to those tutorials there. There's other stuff as well, so there's some videos by some YouTubers here which might interest you as well, which is quite good. Go and check them out. Also, a guide which you can actually check in-game as well, which is pretty cool. We've also got a manual, which, yeah, I wouldn't be able to bother really with any of that there. Other things like guide and stuff. But basically, all of this here is there to help you, but the order I'd recommend it, as I said, watch the videos and then do this tutorial here, and then you can pretty much jump in and try bits for yourself. So, single player. Let's go to Vehicle Designer. We're going to do a vanilla map. You can also go Space Designer, which spawns a player on a floating space platform 1 kilometer above, Fishbone Island, which is the thing we're actually on, and there's other things as well. So we're just going to go for vanilla, and we'll launch that. Also, I've got a beverage here with me as well. Oh, a nice cup of green tea. I always have a green tea after my dinner. Today's dinner, incidentally, was mixed veg and some sausages. Because I found them in the freezer and I didn't realise they're tasty. So, quick rundown of the UI, quite simple. Bottom left is our selection, so whether we've got like in slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can put like weapons and like you can hotbar like your tools and your blocks of wood and things that you're going to build, or all of your, I guess your inventory, you can put all that in there. On the bottom shows our resources, and currently shows infinite because, well, for obvious reasons, we are in free build mode, so it's completely infinite. In a campaign and such, you have to actually mine resources and refine them, things like that. On the right-hand side, it shows us the vessels statistics, so the speed, the vertical speed, horizontal speed, the dive, how high up or down we are, things like that. Also shows us how much ammo and fuel we've got and stuff like that as well. So, we can look around. We're on an island, as you can see. Oh, this little floating platform. By the way, that thing there, that is your arm there that you can see there. For some reason, well, let's just press tab and we'll go outside. And when you press tab, you go to your free view camera. And you can see this is us there. It's this weird little sort of steampunk type bot thing, which has got sort of kettle feet with flames coming out of it and a big sort of mace thing. It's a bit weird and, yeah, it's very stylized. I'm not a big fan of this sort of big black lining that you get all the way around stuff, but, you know, it's fine. I guess you get used to it. Like you say, not a big fan, but, you know, it's fine. Let's go back inside. One of the things I really dislike, I know I'm getting to all the bad stuff first, but trust me, if I wasn't showing this, I wouldn't like the game. Yeah, I don't like the way that you can look down and see your feet. I mean, that's something that's reserved for Thief and stealth games, but the fact that you spin around and it's sort of it's very floaty in a sense that, you know, yes, it's basically putting the camera inside the bot's head, but it just feels, there's a little bit of, like, sort of dissidence there, a little bit of sort of cut that I just don't like. Either way, you know, it's all personal preference, I guess, but I'm just going to tell you how I feel. So, one more sip of beverage. Let's get on with the building. Let's press B, and then we are now into building mode. But there's two types of building. There is two modes. You can either do mouse building or you can do keyboard building. Now, the game recommends you do keyboard building, and I was actually I was not in agreement on that one. I thought, no, I actually prefer the mouse building. Now, the mouse building, you can press F3 at any point to switch between the two. Mouse building is your typical Minecraft building sort of style. So you look around and you can place a block. Okay, that's your typical building that you were familiar with, like with other games such as Minecraft and all those other like voxel games, Space Engineers, blah blah blah. The keyboard building is actually harder to get used to, but once you're used to it, it is very intuitive and very fast to build stuff. So I would persevere with it if I was you. Like I said, I didn't like the mouse building, but I did struggle on and found that I do actually prefer the keyboard building, especially for building bigger vessels. So anyway, we're going to build a vessel. So what we're going to do, we're going to press caps lock, and that's going to raise this thing out of the sea, because obviously trying to build something when the waves are rocking us about is a little bit of a pain in the posterior. So we want to ignore that and press tab. You can't do this, caps lock. You can't do this in other modes. It's just when you're building stuff like this. So there we go. And so we can go around. First things first, let me actually go to E, and that opens up our big inventory and all the things we can spawn. As I said, because this is free mode, we've got everything here. I'm going to go to New Object, and I'm going to go to Vehicle, and then I'm going to place a vehicle block over here. So there. And that creates a new vehicle. So basically, the island, which we're sitting on over there, as you can see, it's dropped to the ground now. That now is floating over there. That's fine. It means we're not building on that. In fact, that guy's probably going to drop into the sea. Ooh. Yeah, he's rocking all over the place. Do I go back over there and help him out? Nah, he'll be fine. Right, so let's have a quick look. Couple of simple things. As I said, the tutorials and the videos that show you will probably tell you this, but I might as well go through them. When you're in this building mode, there's a lot of arrows. Basically, the big green arrow currently going, to put it that way, so here we go. The big green arrow going from left to right, that shows you the direction of the craft that you're making. So that is forward, okay? That is forward, you can see by the big green arrow. The cube is the thing you're actually trying to place. The thing on top of it, the arrow, is the arrow that this is actually pointed in the cube. So obviously it's a cube. All sides are the same. It doesn't really matter. You can actually rotate them by holding tab, and then you can use your WS and D keys and turn them around. So you can see that block would actually be facing backwards. Not that it matters in this case because it's just a block. But if, for example, if we go to blocks and then wood, and then would slope down, you can see that orientation does actually matter, and you will have to do that properly. So you can see there what I mean. So there you go. That's your orientation. Let's just go back and we'll go to wood block. Okay. The blue arrows that are currently sort of flashing away, that shows you like the direction that you are not pointing, but the direction of build. So when I left click, I will place a block. Also right click places a block as well. But when I left click, I will build a block and move one forward. I'll move forward in the direction of those blue arrows. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's go down here. Oh, by the way, when you're blue, when the whole thing's blue, it means you can't place anything. When it's red, it's going to remove what you're going to click on, and then when it's green, it's going to add to it. So if I left click, it's going to build this block and then go one forward. There you go, so it adds another block, and if I do the same, there you go, and there you go. If I'm doing that way, you can see the arrows have changed, and I will build that way. Simple thing. If I right-click, you would think it would delete the blocks, but it doesn't. Instead of building forward like that does there, it will actually build backwards. So you can go, say, do that, and then you can go that, and you can do that. You know, quite simple. When you're like this, as I said, you will remove blocks and, I've just dropped half of that thing down there. When you delete stuff, by the way, the smaller piece will disappear as far as I'm aware. So let's get rid of all of that. We don't need that. And oh my good grief, there's a block down there. Oh yes, that's floating. That's going to be problematic later on. Anyway, so This is the thing we're still trying to build. Let's actually make some sort of weird small craft. So let's go to wooden beam, and we're going to go down, and we want to place one there and there and there. That should do us quite nicely. Let's just zoom out. That's okay. And a little bit more as well. Then I'm going to go over here. If you press twice on your... let me just get rid of that as well. And now this is what we're going to use. Cool. So... if you, oh yes, by the way, your WS and D keys move it around, but again, it's in the orientation of the camera, and the arrows will tell you that. So, for example, if I'm like this way, if I'm looking that way and press space, I will go up. Obviously, Alt will go down. But if I'm looking that way, you'd think space would bring it up. No, it'll actually do it that way. So, again, it's quite hard to get used to, but once you've got used to it, it is actually quite good. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place a mirror plane. I'm going to place a mirror plane there. There we go. Don't know if you can actually see it. No, it's actually too small to see, but I've placed a mirror plane. Now, what that'll do is when I build here, it will actually mirror it on the other side. You know, you understand. You've seen this thing before. Let's get rid of that, and we'll keep going. So we'll go build, 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 build. There we go. That's okay. And then what we're going to do is, I think we're going to go probably there, and we'll build back over. And then we'll build this way, and then we'll build up. There we go. And again, we'll go that way. And we're just trying to make a bit of a keel here. There we go. Right, so we've got that there. You can see the build plane now. For some reason, it's like sort of this like weird particle thing, but when you've got a small vehicle, you can hardly see it. One thing I'm not a big fan of, and I don't know if this is just me, maybe I've missed a controller, but you can, as far as I can tell, only place one mirror plane. You can't place two, as far as I'm aware. I might be wrong about that, but I don't know what the button is, or if it even exists. So there you go. That's just, yeah, that's one of my things I've noticed. Anyway, let's go to E, and go to wood block, and then we're going to basically fill this in. So we want to go back, and then we want to go, hang on, I want to go back, and then forward. Oh, hang on, forward, and then we're sorted there. Okay, that's all sorted. And then we're going to go to this side, and we're going to go down again. And we'll go back over, and then we'll go forward, and back over to there. Okay, we now have a really crappy boat. In fact, what I'm going to do, I should have probably undone. I probably should have got rid of these. Let me get rid of these, because we don't really need them. What I want to do is go up, and then delete them, and then go down, and delete that bit there. What I want to do instead is go to a bit of the old, where is it? I want to go slope down. There we go. I want to start making like a bit of a prow. So obviously push the water out the way. Let's hold tab, and we'll spin that round. That's the wrong way. That is the wrong way. I'll get it eventually. There we go. Okay, so we're going to place one there. Okay. And we'll place one. Oh, how am I going to do this? This is going to be a bit weird. Let's place one. We really want it there, but we can't because obviously there's nothing to place it there. Let's put one there, and we'll put one there. And then what I want to do is go to this side. Obviously, it's mirrored to the other side. I want to press R when I'm over another block. Pressing R will copy that block, so you don't have to keep going to inventory. So that's very powerful. And we're going to place that one there. And then I want to place one there. And that's, again, mirrored it to the other side, which is good. So we need to place that one there. And then we basically need to keep on going, I think. I mean, obviously, this is a really horrible design. I'm aware of that, so please don't write in. If you do, write in to someone else. Let's just put that there. And we'll keep going with this one. So I think that'll probably... I'll put one there as well, and again just copy that block and then move over. We want to place that one there and there and there. This is actually, now that I've thought about this, is going to be a very heavy design, so let me actually remove these blocks. Or do we want to remove these blocks? Got a bit of another plan. Let's get rid of that, and then instead what I'll do is simply go to wooden block, and then I will place one, I think, there. Let's cheat a little bit, and there. Okay. And then probably do something like slope down. Want to actually remove, want to spin that round, to be honest with you, like so, and that's the wrong way. It's a little bit annoying holding tab. Try and do this. We'll put one there, and to be honest, that's terrible. But it'll do for now because I don't have much time to mess around with it. Like I say, I'm just trying to show you the basics. So let's just press B, and we'll go back to building mode. And this is going to go splosh, and that's wrong. Why is it doing that? Oh, I'm guessing if I go underwater... Oh, no, I was going to say I thought maybe I'm sitting on the other piece that was all wrong because obviously the bit dropped off. So here we are. We're now inside our boat. Obviously, the water's coming in. One of the things that always annoyed me, now this comes from directly from pretty much Gary's mod, is when you made underwater vehicles and such, the water used to always come in, and it always really annoyed me because I thought, oh, shoot, there's a way to make it so it doesn't come in, because when you make a submarine, you are still underwater. All the water's inside, but, you know... I understand now, knowing what I do, that that's quite difficult to do. Either way, let's just press B again, and then press, oh, actually, no, we'll not press B again. We're going to get this guy off it, because we don't want him in the way. We've got free camera, B, and then, actually, no, we'll undo that. We need to go over to this one. When you're building the closest vehicle you're near, will activate that building mode for that thing. Because I was close to the raft, I was trying to build that. Okay, so we now have a vehicle that's a bit crap. Okay, so this is okay, but slight problem, we don't have any engines, and we have no way of getting this thing to move. So what I'm going to do is going to go down here, I'm going to copy that block, and I'm going to put an engine. We need to keep it mid-engined, obviously, because it's like sporty sort of thing. We'll put it there. We're going to put an engine here. So let's get on with that one. We're going to go on the left-hand side, we're going to go say engines, and then engine block. This is the first thing you actually need. So I'm going to place a block there. Actually, we need to rotate that, I believe. So, no, hang on. There we go. I'll get it eventually. Okay, place a block there. So that's an engine block. That doesn't do anything now. When you mouse over, you can see there's loads of current power, fuel usage, all that sort of stuff. That will not do anything, because you have to make the engine. So I need crankshaft. So I'll place a crankshaft. And a crankshaft and a crankshaft. And you can basically make as long as you want if you wanted to. And obviously the more you place, the more power you'll get, things like that. I'm just going to place 3 for now. And then what I want to do is place a cylinder on top of this thing. So let's place cylinder 1, 2, 3 on top of that one. So we've got a 3-cylinder engine. It's not really a powerhouse, I'm aware. But you can, for example, put them on either side if you really wanted to. After that, we need to put on a carb. So we'll put a carb on 1, 2, 3. There we go. And once we've got our carb, we can then shove on either fuel tank or a supercharger. So again, I think we'll go for fuel tank. So we'll go for, actually, we'll mirror plane it first. We'll put a mirror there and we'll build it like that. Okay. And then that probably will do us for now. Now let's have a check of the engine's power. Engine's power is current usage 0. Is this just, actually what we'll do, we'll put a supercharger on the top as well. Oops, I've just deleted something that I didn't want to delete. We'll put that there, put a supercharger. That goes on the carb. Now, if you're not too sure where it goes, there's a couple of good things. Firstly, you can see it's in like a tree. Engine block, connected to the engine block is the crankshaft, connected to the crankshaft is the cylinder, and then connected to the cylinder is a exhaust or a carburetor, and then connected to that. Basically, it's in, you can see it goes down, and then attached to that, you can either have an exhaust or a carb, and to carb, you can either connect a supercharger or a fuel tank. If you don't have access to it, because at the top here, again, another good thing to try and ease this learning curve is to try and make it less steep anyway. Basically, put it so you can only build certain things, but then you can say more, and you get access to more stuff, and then more and more and more, which is pretty cool. If you're still confused, you click on the engine guide, and this basically runs through the building of an engine. So it says, this is the engine block component, you need one. What's your next part? You need to build a couple of crankshaft pieces, and then you can go for cylinders. There you go, and then you can place cylinders on the top or on the side. Then you need to put carbs around that. There you go, and then on top of that you can put superchargers, and then you can put on the back of that, what they put on that one, looks like an exhaust of some kind. Yeah, there you go. And then you can put fuel tanks and blah, 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 blah. And this is just building it up and up and up and up, as you can clearly see. There you go. And that's pretty much all done. So there you go. Oh, it's also fleshing out like a boss for recording reasons, I'm guessing. So there you go. We now have an engine. Let's just go over to it. And we can see that the engine, when you need to see how much power it is, it's got current usage 0. Its maximum power output is 25 it is. So it's actually, I don't know. I think it's a fairly garbage engine, but because it doesn't use like real readable numbers, and what I mean by that is, if I say, oh, it's got maximum power output 25, you have no frame of reference. You don't know whether that's good or bad. Obviously, you can understand crankshafts 3. You know that means 3 because you can count it. 25? What's that? Is that horsepower? Is that Newton meters? Is what we don't know what it is. So basically, it could be anything. So the best way to do it, I think, is to try it out. First things first, though, we need to go back into building mode. We need to raise this thing up, and then we need to go to our control, and then vehicle controller, ship's wheel, and we need to place a ship's wheel hang on, go up and forward and there. So we now have a ship's wheel. It's actually in the wrong rotation, so we'll probably spin that round for sake of fairness. There we go. So we now have, it's all dark as well, we now have an ship's wheel. There it is. Hopefully you can clearly see that. So what else do we need? Well, sadly, one thing you also need is some sort of control surfaces. So we need a rudder. So let's go to water, and actually let's put the propeller on. Huge propeller or a boat propeller. I don't really know what the difference is. Apart from one costs more. It's got more armor. Oh, okay. You can actually put more force to it. Okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do is put myself a couple of propellers in. I don't know if I can have more than one, but we're going to put one in there and one in there. Okay, you don't need to connect it up. You don't actually need to connect it up to a... to an engine. You don't have to have like a drive shaft or anything like that, which actually I thought would be really cool if you actually had to do that, but no. All it really is once you've got an engine, that generates generic units of power, and then that power is outputted via whatever means you have. So again, I probably would like drive shafts and actually physically connecting it up, but you know, we don't, so deal with it, I guess. Boat rudder, let's go down. We'll place a boat rudder, we'll place it there, and is that the wrong direction? Doesn't say that it is. No, that looks about right. Okay, so we should technically have some boat here, and will it work? Let's press B. Let's go back onto our little guy, and we'll fly over here, and we will land down. Ah, yes, and as you can see on the top left, we've got loads of controls. So U for accelerating, J for decelerating, H and K going from port to starboard respectively, and press T and G together to stop the boat. So let's press tab, and obviously if you're getting seasick, then I'm sorry. Let's just actually press U and hold you, and we'll activate this thing, and oh, there we go. That is actually driving quite well. Let's turn it. Well, it's quite maneuverable. I mean, it's not the best boat in the world, you understand. I mean, that's the understatement of the century, but this does actually function. T and G, that actually turns it off. Fantastic. So, we actually have an engine that powers our boat. That all works. Obviously, if I fiddled around with this and put like more cylinders on, or did different, messed around with the configuration, I might get a better engine. But maybe not better for what I want to do. Like, obviously, you can make engines that are more... say, not reliable, but engines that are more fuel efficient, but engines that might not be very fuel efficient, but generate more power, things like that. So there's a reason why you would want to change all this, and I do like the fact that you have to mess around with this engines, do stuff like that. Right, okay, so the front bit, we haven't really got anything on that, so I'm going to press B, and again press our control, or caps lock, sorry. And we'll go all the way up, and we need to build something on the front. So let's just go to this bit here, and then we'll go all the way to the front, and then, actually no, I'll probably go down to this bit area, this area, and then go back, and now we have a little sort of lump on the front. Why is that there? Well, I think this is not going to be any sort of boat until it has a gun on it, so let's deal with that now. So I could, if I wanted to, just go to simple weapons, put a ram on it, put a small cannon, put a large cannon, but these are all single blocks, okay? Things like harpoon guns, all that sort of stuff, drill, laser. Oh, I could put missiles and torpedoes on it. This is where it gets quite good. So if I go to, for example, custom cannons and firing piece, okay, I can actually start to make a full-on like cannon and actually build it up just like we have with the engine. So I'm going to place a firing piece there, okay? So that is a firing piece. It's similar to the engine block in that it's like the very first thing you want to make. Now, I haven't put this on a turret, but you can put it on a swivel turret and things like that. Then I'm going to get myself a barrel, and I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barrels on it. Why not? I don't mean 5 barrels, but it makes it longer. Obviously, the longer you make it, it will actually change things, so the damage might go up, the accuracy, things like that, but it might reduce other things. There's different types of barrels as well, so flash suppressor, motor-driven barrel. What I need to do now is also put some 6-way connectors. I'll go for, actually, is it a 6-way connector? I think it is. It's one of them and one of them. There we go, 6-way connector, and that goes on top of the, on the side or on top of the barrel. And the reason we want to do that is because we also need to connect things like ammo, because obviously it hasn't got ammo. If you don't have ammo connected to it, as far as I'm aware, as long as you got ammo somewhere on the vehicle, it will actually take it from that. But connecting it does increase, it does change the statistics. There's a reason to do it. I can't remember exactly why, but there's a reason to connect it up. I'm going to put armor-piercing warheads on it as well. There we go, and now we technically sort of have a cannon. Actually, let me get rid of that because I don't really need to do it. Right, we now have a cannon. Let's just press B again, and we will crash down to the water, and spladoosh. So, same sort of thing here. We can actually float around. So we will activate our. Actually, where is our little raft? Our little raft is over there. Let's see if we can shoot it. So we'll hold U and get some speed here. Actually, what I should have done is added some ballast to the back, because as you can see, it's really plunging forward, which is not good. This thing's what we're knocking out. Speed, nearly. Our speed 5.7 meters a second, so it's very garbage, to be honest with you. Right, let's turn this thing around. It's very maneuverable. Good grief, it doesn't have list, doesn't it? But you know, it's okay. Right, let's reduce our speed a little bit, and we'll still point at this thing. Okay, that's our little raft thing. What we need to do now is on the left-hand side, you can see we've got selection. I'm going to go to all, and that basically selects this cannon in front of us, and we can spin it around. As you can see, we're going to point towards that and press control. Missed. Okay, reloading. Come on. Missed it, damn it. Okay, let's just steer towards that way there, and... Damn it, come on. Come on. It's like playing World of Warships, this. Yes, I hit it, and as you can see on the top right, we've got the damage that I've done. Cool, because bits will start falling off. That's not good. Ram it, just speed. Power, just clarks in this thing. And we've just gone past it. Bye, and there's that piece gone. So we didn't really do very well with that one, but you can see it did function quite well. And we can still turn this thing around. Hang on, let's actually turn it like that. I think the wheel turns... The wheel for some reason turns the opposite way. It's a bit glitchy, that one. Alpha Gamers Alpha. Spin it round. And we'll go back to this. And we want to go to there. Fire. 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 Fire the guns. Oh, we're not close enough to it. Fire the guns. Fire the guns. Fire the gun. Oh, we just rammed into it. Okay. Yeah, fine. Whatever. We just rammed into the thing. Can we just stop the boat? Just stop the boat. We're just not going to bother with that anymore. Anyway, that is a really, really crappy boat. What else could I do to improve it? Well, there's several things I could. For example, that's the wrong button. That's actually your overview, by the way. When you're not in build mode, you get a big overview. And when you play in the campaign, you do actually play at that scale. So, yeah, just a point, point of interest and all of that. Let's just go back. We'll press build. We'll go back to our big pile of stuff here. So there's your blocks. You can have stone blocks, metal blocks, light blocks, glass blocks, lead blocks. You got water stuff, so you got air pumps if you want to have... it basically provides buoyancy for when you're making things underground. There's a big paddle... underwater, sorry. Hydrofoils to go up and down. Sail block, I never tried that, but there's a sail guide there and a boat guide. You got all your air stuff, so you've got wings and you've got ailerons for controls, all your control surfaces, ion thrusters for space stuff, jet engines, and you can build like customized jet engines. There's a wheel. Oh, so I guess there is basic stuff in for ground, but I don't know if it's yet. Jet stabilizers, you got all your control stuff, so chairs and displays and things like that. Now this is another important thing here. There is lasers. There's AI. Okay, so AI, it's a big part of the game and something I didn't really expect. Obviously, controlling a boat is going to be quite difficult, but you can place an AI mainframe and then start adding card slots and then start adding different cards. So things like, for example, say water start or I don't know, propulsion balancing, blah blah blah. All of these cards do different things, and you add these cards. There's also targeting ones and things like that, and all of these things would add onto it, and then you can set the cards up with a lot of like sliders to say, well, you're connected to this weapon, I want you to fire that with you in so much range of that. Obviously you need to know how you build up your weapon and make it how you want it. Then you will AI do the same thing. You will connect the AI up to it and you will say fire it when something's within this range, blah 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 blah. You've also got trackers and radar systems and missile warners, and you've got other things as well. So is it on here? There's things like weapons might target your heat signature, but you don't want that, so you can have things that actually reduce it, or basically got like flares, decoys, things like that. So as you can see, there are a lot of things in this, and once you have built up some more things and actually experiment around with it, you will get something a bit like this. Yeah, that's quite big, isn't it? Wow, that's just one of the things that you can load in game. You can literally press escape and go to load, and there's several hundred things as far as I can tell. All types of boats and vehicles and vessels you can actually load. Oh, by the way, yes, that is my vehicle inside that because I did spawn it inside, so it's sticking out the top. I should have moved off when I loaded it, but yes, this is a vehicle that you can load. Also, this got Steam Workshop support, so you can do other things as well. But as you can see, we can go to here, and it's got like a nice little sort of glass roof, and there's I think they're fuel barrels. That's some sort of, that's an oil generator, not an oil processor yet. And then you can go over here and you've got like a big sort of paddle wheel, which looks pretty cool. You've got guns, and you've got, what's that there? Is that a missile system of some kind? That looks like some sort of missile system. Let's have a quick drive around it. So I'm going to go back to this guy and we can walk up to here. If I scroll down, now most of this will be controlled by AI. There will be some AI control set up somewhere, but if I just scroll to all, I can see that I'm now in control of this thing here, and we can fire away. Whoa, that's a big cannon. You can see our AI waiting can take control of turret on the left-hand side there. So that can spin around and we can fire away like so. God, it's coming towards me. No, there we go. And fire. Sweet. And obviously these barrels get bigger and all change based on what's inside of it. Let's go over here to hang on up over this side. And what's these things at the front? Loudspeakers. This, you know, gun here, we can say fire away. Boom. I want to see what these things are. Are these missiles? I think they might be. Let's just click fire. Yep, they're actually missiles. And yes, you can... Oh, don't hit the seagulls. You can actually target missiles on different things. And I have seen, which looks awesome, subs with basically like ICBMs on them. So you can see it come close to the surface and then missiles fire out the back. Yeah, so that's a little bit of From the Depths. From what I've played, this can be one of those games where if you can get into it, you will have an absolute boatload of fun. A boatload with the seas and things. Oh god, I'm so lonely. But you get the idea, right? That you can make loads of things. That's an engine and it's really making a lot of noise. You can make loads of things. If you want to actually, you know, get online and verse other people, that's cool. If you want to play in the campaign, that's cool as well. I think the biggest problem with it is its learning curve. You know, the fact is that it's going to be quite difficult to learn, especially to get into making vehicles like this. But once you get there, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. UI, I think, is a little bit... I don't know. I personally don't like it. I think it's just a little bit big. I don't know why. It just seems a little bit old-fashioned in some ways. God, I've just got loads of damage on the top right. You know, I'm used to like more streamlined ones. But either way, alpha game is alpha. Who knows? It will change. It has actually changed since I last played it. It was a lot worse when I last played it, but it does the job quite adequately. And honestly, it's not really about that. It's about building big honking cannons and stuff. Some people are not going to like the aesthetic of it, and honestly, I wasn't a big fan, and still I'm not a big fan, especially the black outline. I don't know if you can change that on the graphics and stuff. They're sort of not cell shaded, but it's sort of getting there. And obviously, it's a bit lo-fi, it's sort of steampunky, but it is what it is. And after playing, well, probably for about 4 hours now, I've sort of gotten used to it. I don't really notice it. It's like when you play Minecraft and you just end up like not noticing it. That's a door, isn't it? Let's go in there. This is where we're supposed to sit. Let's just press Q and we'll open the door. Can we go down in here? We're going to try to anyway. It's a little bit glitchy inside. Thank you very much. Cool. We're actually inside. That's sweet. But yeah, that is a little bit of From the Depths. Link in the description so you can check it out yourself. It's something I want to play more of, to be honest with you, because it's really fun and interesting and you can build loads of stuff. And surely that's always a good thing. Apart from that there, because that's that would be easy to get in the front, by the way, because that's my boat. Yeah, that's why it's hard to get in, because that's that's my craft in the back there. Oh, good grief. Thank you very much for watching. As always, comments in the comments. Take care of yourself and generic partings. Can you hit yourself? Can you hit your own boat with this thing? Should we try? Should we try? Let's give it a go. Give it a go. Oh, yes, you can. Oh! Just turn the video off now. That didn't happen.